What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
Yes. How is everyone doing, man? It's been a while. I'm just testing out my new mic, actually, so let me hear what it's saying. Also, let me know what you guys can hear. Am I loud? Am I clear? Let me just turn me up on the headphones a little bit. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Can you hear me loud and clear? Let me just fix this up a bit more. Yeah. All right. I wish they made it easy to test out new things without doing it live on air. But you guys should be able to hear me loud and clear, man. Anyway, look, welcome to a new episode of the Everything Lowry Show. If you can't hear me, just let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I know I've been away for a little while. Let me just fix this a bit. Yeah, that's better. I know I've been away for a little while. I see people in the chat. What's good? But I'm back. You know, life was life in. But, you know, I'm back. Everything Lowry's back, and you're going to see a lot more of me for the rest of the year, man. But whilst I've been away, don't get it twisted, man. I've still been watching stuff in the background. I've still been seeing how, you know, certain things are going on TV, in the cinema. Currently, right now, I'm watching the new Daredevil series on Disney Plus, which I'm enjoying, but I wouldn't say it's, you know, set the levels that I hoped it would. But it's been entertaining. It's been good. Um, what else is there? There was Adolescence on Netflix that went super viral a couple of weeks ago. I enjoyed that. Good 4-part mini series from Netflix. If you haven't watched that, I definitely recommend watching it. What else is there? Oh, yes. Invincible season 3. Invincible season 3, banger. If you're into animated TV shows, if you like stuff like The Boys, then you will definitely enjoy Invincible season 3. That's on Amazon Prime. And I don't get paid to promote this yet, but I definitely recommend going to watch Invincible season 3. But I can't lie, guys, man. The first quarter of this year, the first quarter for from cinema has been terrible. It's been terrible, man. Like, apart from, like, I think I watched Novocaine, which was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And then Companion, funny enough, starred Jack Quaid in both movies. Companion, I think I enjoyed more than Novocaine, but yeah. Anyway, apart from those two films, off the top of my head, cinema has been absolutely terrible. Like, the bangers that they're saying they're bangers are not bangers, and the movies just in general have just been rubbish. So I'm hoping now we're out of Q1, we're in Q2, we're in the second quarter of the year. You know, the good weather's coming out today, man. The weather was lovely, man. I think it was around about like 18 degrees. You know, we seem to be returning to some. There's a feel good feeling. So I'm hoping that translates into cinema, because boy, I know I've had some people saying, "Yo, Lowry, have you seen this? Have you seen that?" I'm gonna admit, I haven't felt enthusiastic to talk about any of the films that have released this year. It's just been meh. And I'm not someone that wants to come on here and trash movies, but that might change after today's review. Um, but but yeah, look, let's get into it. This is a new episode of Everything Lowry Show. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Today we've got a jam-packed show. It's mainly all from CinemaCon, which is an event that happens in Las Vegas once a year. It's an annual event. Movie studios, they basically showcase their upcoming movies for this year, next year, or many years to come. They play trailers, they make major film announcements, and they offer a first look to what is coming into the cinema. So there's been some big boy releases this year, and we're going to get stuck into that, man. So without further ado, let's get into the first news topic for tonight. And unfortunately, man, I got to start off with some sad news. Oh, yeah, and unfortunately, tongue twisted there. Yeah, and unfortunately, man, I got to start off with some sad news, man. And the legend Val Kilmer sadly passed away earlier this week at the age of 65. His daughter, Mercedes Kilmer, confirmed to the New York Times that he passed away after battling pneumonia. I mean, Kilmer, he's probably one of the most versatile actors of his era, of his generation. He's a Juilliard trained performer who could do it from all to comedy to action to fantasy. I mean, his first few movies were a bit before my time, but there's movies like Top Secret that came out in 1984. You had Real Genius that came out in 1985. But to my knowledge and just doing some research online, his breakout movie was in 1986, where he starred alongside Tom Cruise in Top Gun, aka Iceman. And that's how he's been known to me, um, as Iceman. And after that, man, he just kept proving his range. He went on to star in roles in fantasy epics like Willow. I know Disney Plus tried to revive Willow recently, but it didn't really work. On Disney Plus, he played Jim Morrison in the movie called The Doors that came out in '91. And let's not forget Tombstone, Heat, and he even suited up as Batman in Batman Forever. So what a legend, man. His legacy as a Hollywood actor is forever going to be cemented. And it was even more cemented when he returned as Iceman in Top Gun Maverick that came out in 2022. And I would say still to this day, that scene has to be one of the most emotional moments in cinema. And it was it was outstanding how they put that together. It came out of nowhere. Like, no one didn't know he was going to be in the film. They wanted him to be in the film, but knowing his health conditions, it was very unlikely that he was going to star in there. So yeah, man, just wanted to start off the show with a rest in peace to Val Kilmer. His talent and impact will never be forgotten. And if you haven't watched the movies that I mentioned, Heat, Tombstone, Top Secret, Batman Forever. I know Batman Forever people say, they have their views on Batman Forever. And he's got many, many, many more movies. Just go onto his IMDb and just check them out. And yeah, man. So yeah, rest in peace to Val Kilmer, man. All right, cool. So we're moving on to the first big news of tonight. And I'm super excited for this. And it's to do with Friday. we are finally getting a new Friday movie. I mean, the last Friday film came out in 2002. So it's been over 20 years. It's been over 20 years, guys. And yeah, Ice Cube is finally returning to the Friday franchise with a brand new sequel to Friday After Next that came out in 2002. And yeah, man, confirmed he's locked in a deal with Warner Bros. And New Line Cinema to write and star in the long-awaited fourth installment of the comedy classic Friday series. I mean, a new Friday film has been spoken about ever since I was in my teens. The first for those who don't know, if you're on my show and you don't know the Friday trilogy, you need to watch my show, finish the show, and then after my show, go onto Netflix or go online somewhere and go and watch the Friday movies. They are some of my, well, not some, they are, that trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I, on a weekly basis, I reference something from one of the Friday movies. Even me and my boy, the other day, we just turn up and we just say stuff from the Friday movies. That is ingrained with my upbringing, my childhood. And yeah, man, it's gonna be called Last Friday, so I'm assuming this will be the last one in the franchise. But yeah, man, if you don't know, the first Friday came out in '95. That's the classic, man. I mean, classic movie. Let me know in the chat if you guys have watched any of the Friday movies. And that had Ice Cube and Chris Tucker as Craig and Smokey, and then obviously had Debo. He had Pops. Yeah, so many characters, and it was such a simple film. It was two guys hanging out on their doorstep. Craig gets fired on his day. How you get fired on your day off? And they're just chilling, and stuff just happens on this day, and it's a classic movie. And then the second one came out in 2000 called Next Friday, and that introduced Mike Epps as Day Day. Chris Tucker didn't return to the Friday franchise. Again, another banger, and then the third one, Friday After Next, which I would probably say that my generation will probably know more of the Friday After Next, because I had Cat Williams, you had Terry Crews, and then you had Day Day and Ice Cube, and I'll probably say that was at the height of Ice Cube's height of movies at that time. Then after he had a little break, and then he came back with the Daddy, is it Daddy Daycare films? I can't remember. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. I'm super excited. He's taken full creative control as both writer and he's lead starring in the movie. There's no information on who's going to be returning. Of course, Ice Cube is returning, but are we going to see Mike Epps return? Most likely. The big one is going to be Chris Tucker coming back as Smokey, because he has come out and said it just doesn't align with him. But I would love to see Smokey back, man. Can he reprise what he did in the first Friday film? I don't know. It's been 30 years. It'll be very difficult. It would be very difficult to do. Then you've got the likes of Cat Williams. I mean, the year that he had last year, he's on the steam train right now. And I think Cat Williams is a no-brainer to return in this Last Friday movie. Terry Crews, Craig and Day-Day. You've got Don Curry. But the sad thing about this Last Friday movie is that we won't see John Witherspoon and Tommy Tiny Listener, who played Pops. John Witherspoon played Pops, and Debo is probably one of the most iconic, in my eyes, one of the most iconic villains in a movie. Debo, like everyone knows who Debo is. Both iconic characters, both vital characters to all the movies. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that, because yeah, like I said, they're so integral to the story. It'll be interesting to see what new villains and all of that stuff. But for one thing for sure, Ice Cube, he's a rap legend. He's just a legend in general. I know he's going to pay homage to them. So yeah, just wanted to bring that at the top of the show tonight. We are getting a new Friday movie. I have all three 80s babies, 90s babies, only understand. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, welcome to the stream, Devon. Appreciate you joining tonight. I'm telling you, man, that trilogy has a hold on, yeah, you're right, 80s and 90s babies, man. The new gen, they don't know about Friday. They don't know. And like I said, there's so many quotables. Even when you're listening to rap songs and stuff, it's still quoted today. And it's just an iconic. If you haven't watched it, just watch Friday. Just watch it. You will not be disappointed. So yeah, just want to bring that at the top of the show. We are getting a new Friday movie. Let me know if you're excited in the chat below. Let me know which is your favorite out of the trilogy, and I'll tell you once I've seen a few people write in the chat their favorite Friday movie. But I'll tell you mine once I see yours. But cool. All right, next story for tonight, and this one came out of nowhere. David Fincher is to direct the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from a script from Quentin Tarantino. I mean, to my knowledge, when have you seen an A-lister director direct another A-lister's film? I I can't remember when that's happened. But it's unexpected. But as Variety says, David Fincher is officially directing the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, with Quentin Tarantino returning to write the script, and Brad Pitt is back as the stuntman Cliff Booth that he played in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the movie is also being set up at Netflix. So it's right now, it's not looking like it's going to be a theatrical released movie like the first one was. Like, this is going to be a Netflix film, which David Fincher does have a first. Netflix do have a first to David Fincher movies, and because David Fincher is directing this film, it makes sense as to why Netflix are getting this movie. But yeah, man. I mean, the first Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think released in what 2019, and it was cool. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was a cool film. Really good, some really good set pieces from Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and like a lot of the actors that we see today um, are were were starring in that movie. So you had obviously Margot Robbie was known at the time, but you had Austin Butler, you had Margaret Qualley, you had Mikey Madison. I think who else was in there? You had Sydney Sweeney. There's a few other people, but they're all big names now. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to return. Is DiCaprio and Margot Robbie going to return to this film? If not, um, who can they get to fill in and maybe give a next generation of stars, a film like this to star in? I mean, this movie is centered on Cliff Booth, so it's a focus story on that character. So we might see a totally new set of guys. But I mean, if you didn't know, Tarantino was developing a different project, which was set to be his last movie, which was called The Movie Critic. So Tarantino, for many years, has been saying, "Look, I've got one more movie left in me, and it's going to be The Movie Critic." And that was set to star Brad Pitt as a 70s film critic, but that film is no longer happening. So it looks like maybe this film is going to be mixed up with some of the DNA from that movie critic script, but a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which will probably galvanize more people to watch it, because a lot of people did watch that film. And we're also seeing Brad Pitt and Fincher return. This is another major team up for both of them. They made Seven, that came out in '95. I mean, that's a classic thriller. I've watched that multiple times. Fight Club that came out in 1999. I mean, what more do I have to say about Fight Club? That's a cult classic. And The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, that came out in 2008. So this will be the fourth time that Brad Pitt and David Fincher are going to be working together. So yeah, man, some exciting news that came out of nowhere. Let me know if you guys are Brad Pitt, David Fincher film fans, Quentin Tarantino fans. Did you like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that came out, I think 2019? I think it was around about that time. Let me know if you guys are fans of that. And of course, when more movie news comes out about this film, I'll be keeping you guys updated. All right, cool. Next, we are taking it all the way to CinemaCon. So CinemaCon is, like I said, is a major event that happens once a year where all the production companies come together and they basically just highlight films that are coming out this year, films that are coming out next year, new titles, actors, special screenings, you name it. It's just to get people excited on the cinema, because I think right now it needs it. But in general, just about what's coming out in cinema. So I'm just gonna go through the highlights of CinemaCon. There's tons of stuff that happened, but let me just get on here. So we're gonna start with Warner Bros. So they took center stage. I think they were one of the early houses to start CinemaCon, and expectations were sky high because I think Warner, they need they need a new what can I say? They need a new freshen upper. I know that's not the right word, but I would definitely say the last few years for Warner hasn't been the greatest in terms of quality of films. So and don't get me wrong, they've had bangers like June Part 2, but I would definitely say holistically for Warner hasn't been the greatest. But yeah, so they kept some surprises under wraps, but and also the thing about CinemaCon is that it's all behind closed doors. So us as the public, no trailers or anything like that reaches YouTube. Obviously, there are people that leak stuff on TikTok now and Twitter, but overall, it's not supposed to be a public-facing event. But people who were lucky enough to attend the show, they got to see some first looks at the upcoming Formula One movie. There's a film called One Battle After Another, the highly anticipated Superman film directed by James Gunn. And then also there were showcases of the new Conjuring movie, which is set to be the last one in the Conjuring franchise, called The Conjuring Last Rites. Final Destination Bloodlines, which is coming out in a couple of months. I'm definitely excited for that one. And there's a Zach Kreger's Weapons movie that's coming out. And then they also, looking further ahead, teased some long-term projects. So we've got Sergeant Rock, a retelling of Wuthering Heights, and a new Cat in the Hat movie. If you're excited for Cat in the Hat, let me know. But with regards to the Superman film, this is coming out on the 11th of July this year, directed by James Gunn. This will be, I think, the first movie of his new DC universe going forward. We have David Cornsweet leading the film as Clark Kent, aka Superman, but we also have Rachel Brosnahan, Isabel Merced, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, Skylar Gibson, Millie Alcock, and a few more probably surprises once the film releases. And yeah, CinemaCon attendees got to basically see an extended version of what we've seen. So the teaser trailer already came out, and I really enjoyed the teaser trailer, but they got to see a few other things, mainly to do with the Fortress of Solitude and how Superman has regen powers from the sun. There was a few like robots. He's basically injured in the trailer, and his dog Crypto pulls him back home, basically, as you can see here on screen, and basically just cuts there from a chase scene. But in addition to this, there was also news on Supergirl movie, which I think is in production now. So that releases next year in June. So that's going to be following on from this film, because we are going to see Supergirl in this movie. We have The Brave and the Bold, which is set to release. Actually, there's no release date yet for that. But this is going to introduce the DCU's Batman, featuring a storyline that includes Batman's son, Damian Wayne, as Robin. So that is a storyline in the DC Comics. We've got Swamp Thing coming out as well. So this is going to be explore the origins of Swamp Thing, promising a darker tone within the DCU. And another movie called The Authority, which is focusing on a group of superheroes known for their unconventional methods. Again, I'm not really clued in with all the DC comics, but it might be akin to a Suicide Squad. But yeah, man, that was Superman. Next, we had Formula One, which I'm super excited for. I'm a big Formula One fan. This movie is coming out later this year on the 25th of June, Kosinski is directing this movie. He directed Top Gun Maverick. The cast of this film has Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Javier Bardem, Bodnia, and Tobias Menzies. I think that's how you pronounce their name. And basically, if you've watched Top Gun Maverick, you should be excited for this. Same director, and it looks like it's going to be a high octane racing drama. The film is about a character called Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt. He's an ex-Formula One driver who raced in the early 90s, but had a horrible crash, forcing him to retire and start racing in other disciplines. But then it brings it to modern day, and a Formula One team owner, played by Javier Bardem, contacts Hayes and asks him to come out of retirement to mentor Damson Idris's character called Joshua Noah Pierce for the Apex Grand Prix team. And the trailer just instantly got me. Instantly got me. And I want this film to give me, I don't know if you haven't watched Top Gun Maverick, if you go on YouTube, there's a scene where Tom Cruise showcases how to complete a mission. And I remember being in the cinema and I was just lying back, enjoying the film. But this moment happens on screen, and I just sat up a bit because I'm thinking, yeah, this moment in the film was just different. So I remember sitting up, and just this emotion and everything else just started coming from this one scene. And I think if they can replicate that through the majority of this film, they're in for another banger, man. And also it is going to feature actual Formula One drivers. So they were actually filming this during last year's, and I think a bit of the season before of the Formula One season. So there were times where Max Verstappen was winning an actual real race, and then you just see Brad Pitt just walking on the screen. So it looks funny how they were filming it, but again, that's all to do, to get us immersed in this movie. And yeah, man, so they showed some footage at CinemaCon for that, and I'm super excited for this, man. I cannot wait for this film, and I hope it's a good one. So yeah, that's Formula One that comes out on the 25th of June. Then people got to see the new Final Destination movie. I have been wanting a Final Destination movie for years, and now we are getting it. It's coming out on the 16th of May. The teaser trailer dropped a couple of weeks back. That's all I need to see. I don't need to see any more trailers because, I mean, as we can see here on screen, a glass breaking, going into ice, and someone about to drink. You're just like, yeah, I can't believe that's happening. So it looks like this film is actually going to be trying to link all the previous Final Destination films. So I'm actually quite keen to see how they do that. It's going to be interesting because, again, to my knowledge, not all of the films kind of followed each other, like story-wise. It was always like a new story, but this one seems to be a college student going through the same things that we see at the start of every Final Destination film, where she has this recurring nightmare of her friends or family passing away. Then she returns home, but this time around, she's returning home to find the person who can prevent it happening going forward. We do have the late Tony Todd in this movie. I believe this is going to be the final film he recorded before he sadly passed away. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for this. And the lucky people at CinemaCon were treated to an extended clip from the movie. So, yeah. And then after that was Cat in the Hat. If you're excited for Cat in the Hat, let me know in the chat. But yeah. All right, cool. So we're moving to Sony. So Sony had a 2-hour long presentation at CinemaCon packed with major reveals. So I'm just going to fly through them quickly. So we are getting a new Karate Kid movie. So Jackie Chan is returning, and Ralph Macchio is returning as well. And there's a new Karate Kid. I think Ben Wang is going to be the new Karate Kid in this movie. That releases later this year. We're getting a new Resident Evil movie. It's going to be directed by the Barbarian director. Their name is Zach Gregor. Sorry, not Gregor. Sorry about that. Yeah, Barbarian director Zach Kreger, and they are going to be helming a new adaptation. Sorry about that. A new adaptation of the Resident Evil film. Now, there has been so many Resident Evil films, and I think, to my knowledge, not all of them were good. I think the first one was cool. I think there's one or two that have been okay, but the rest of them haven't been levels. So I enjoyed the first half of Barbarian, and then the ending kind of took me out the movie. But I do think I think Zach is the right person to put a different creative spin on Resident Evil. We're getting a new Starship Troopers movie. So Neil Blomkamp, who directed District 9, is set to direct this new take on the cult classic sci-fi film. Jumanji 3 is happening. So obviously we had the Robin Williams one, another classic. And then you had Jumanji with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. You had two of those, and we are getting a third one, but we don't know who's returning for this third movie. But I liked all the Jumanji films. I think The Rock and Kevin Hart are extremely funny together. And yeah, I mean, I'm keen to watch the third installment. We are also getting a Legend of Zelda live action film directed by Wes Ball, and the film is officially set to release on the 26th of March 2027. We had updates for 28 Years Later, so this is the sequel to 28 Days Later, and it's going to be directed by Danny Boyle, with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer and Ray Fiennes leading the cast. And also a second film was confirmed, because this is set to be a new trilogy called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which is directed by Nia DaCosta, and that is set to release next year on the 16th of January. So these guys have been filming back to back, and they're going to hit us 6 months, boom, 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 which I'm excited for. And Cillian Murphy, I read the other day, is set to return to the movie, but I don't think he's going to be in the one that comes out this year. He might be in the next year one or the third one. We don't know. Then other big news, we are getting a Beatles biopic. Now, this was mentioned last year, but we got a official confirmation. So Sam Mendes is going to be directing a 4-part cinematic event. So I think each film is going to focus on a Beatle individually: Paul, John, Ringo, and George. And we had the cast. Oh man, what was the cast on it again? I thought I had that on there. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had that on. Cool. Ah, that's annoying. There we are. So yeah, we have Joseph Quinn, Barry Keoghan, Harrison Dickinson, and Paul Mescal all playing each of the members of the Beatles. Any Beatles fans in the chat, let me know. So that's going to be interesting. And I like Sam Mendes as the director. But the big update was the new Spider-Man film. So Tom Holland is returning, and it's called Spider-Man Brand New Day. So that is set to release next year. I think just before Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. So Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi, another Marvel film, is going to be directing this new Spider-Man film, and Tom Holland is set to reprise his role as Peter Parker. There was no other information about if Zendaya is going to return. Are we going to see Miles Morales? Is this going to be a multiverse film? It probably is going to be a multiverse film. But how the events of the last Spider-Man film was left, it's going to be interesting to see how they tackle what's happening at Marvel at the moment, because we just had the Doomsday cast announcement. Tom Holland's name wasn't announced, but I believe he will be in Doomsday. Marvel seems to be in a scenario where everything seems to be reliant on Doomsday performing. Hence the reason why I think they're just nostalgia baiting everyone and getting all the X-Men, everyone that we've seen in a Marvel production, they're just gonna get in this movie. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Spider-Man 4. Um, I would like to see Miles Morales take the lead for a bit. I think we've had a lot of Tom Holland. Um, I like him, but you know when you just see a lot of one person, it's kind of like okay, I kind of, and because there are multiple variants of Spider-Man, it would be cool to see a different take on Peter Parker. Um, so yeah, that was it for movie announcements, and then exclusive footage was also shown for the other Spider-Man movie, which is Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which was supposed to come out last year, but it didn't. So they had a first look of Miles Morales and Prowler working together, and the enemy, the Spot, that's in the film, and the expanded multiverse concept. And that movie now has a confirmed release date of the 4th of June 2027. There was also I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a new version of that. It's kind of like what they did with the recent Scream films. So Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt are reprising their roles. And apparently, this film is supposed to be a more brutal take on the slasher franchise. So that was Sony. Next up, we are moving to Lionsgate, who I have to say they they came out swinging. Um, they did come out swinging. I'm gonna start at the top, man. Guys, we're getting more John Wick movies, man. So let's start with Ballerina, which is set to release later this year on the 6th of June. Anna de Armas is leading the first John Wick spin-off movie. It is going to feature Keanu Reeves, and we also have Norman Reedus and Angelica Houston. The second trailer actually released for Ballerina, I think earlier this week. Then we're getting a Kane movie. Donnie Yen, who plays a blind assassin in John Wick 4. If you know Donnie Yen, then you know what we're going to get in this Kane movie. Ip Man, he was great in John Wick 4, but he's also going to direct this film. So I definitely think we're going to see a blend of the slickness from John Wick, but also that classic Hong Kong kung fu style cinema that I've been itching to see for a long time. I mean, that has just been pulled out of Hollywood, and I don't know why. I mean, we've seen um, Indonesian kung fu movies like The Raid, but it's just I don't know. There just don't seem to be any kung fu films, and I love kung fu movies. So yeah, I'm excited to see Kane. We also getting an animated John Wick movie. No title, but it's just animated John Wick movie. It's a prequel animation. It's a prequel animation style, and it's going to follow John Wick's infamous Impossible Task. It is going to feature Keanu Reeves returning to voice the character. But the biggest news was we are. But the biggest news is that we're getting a fifth John Wick film. It's been confirmed. We are getting John Wick 5. No release date yet, but director Chad Stahelski is returning. And guys, if you saw John Wick 4, I don't know how the heck they're going to I don't know how they're going to do this one. People online are saying that John Wick, this is going to be set in hell, and John Wick is just going to be re-killing all the people he killed in the previous 4 movies. So I'm still going to be there to watch it, but yeah, I I don't know how they're going to go about this one, but I will watch John Wick until it's John Wick 100. I love the John Wick films. And yeah, I can't wait to see more. Other titles from Lionsgate. So we are getting a new Now You See Me film. So that is the magic magician fuel heist movies. So it's called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It's releasing later this year on the 14th of November 2025. We do have Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, and Morgan Freeman returning for a new movie, and it's going to be directed by Ruben Fleischer. We're also getting an American Psycho remake, which is going to be directed by Luca Guadagnino. It's going to be a new take on the thriller. I don't know why they're remaking that film. I don't know why. We're getting The Strangers Chapter 2. So that's releasing on the 26th of September this year. Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is a new mystery thriller film starring The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Keoghan. And that is going to be directed by Trey Edward Schultz. We're also getting a new Hunger Games movie called The Hunger Games Sunrise on Reaping. That also releases next year on the 20th of November. And this is going to be a prequel, another prequel movie. I didn't really like the last prequel film, but it might be different. But the biggest news was that we are still getting the Michael Jackson film apparently this year. So it's directed by Antoine Fuqua, and we've got Jafar Jackson playing Michael Jackson. This is a biopic. Now, originally this movie was set to span all of Michael's career. I don't know how they were going to be doing that. And yesterday, Variety posted that the Michael Jackson biopic is likely going to be split into 2 movies. Now, I've always said I want to see a Michael Jackson biopic, but to cram, if we take out the controversy from Michael Jackson, if you were just to do what they did in like Bob Marley, where they focused on albums and the creation of music, you would need at least 1 movie to go through a couple of albums of Michael Jackson. And then you want to add in, his personal life, the kids, the controversy, all of that stuff. Even if you had a 4-hour movie with an interval, it still wouldn't be enough. So, yeah, I definitely see why they're doing this. I've always said this should have been a trilogy film. It should have, each film should have spanned like maybe 2 albums and a bit, and then the next film, and then the third film brings us to him sadly passed, or just before Michael sadly passing away, because Michael's the GOAT, and no one will be able to touch Michael Jackson, in my opinion, because music has just gone so far from that generation. And then to cram everything into a 3-hour movie, I just couldn't see it working. So I definitely think we'll get a confirmation that the Michael Jackson biopic movie is going to be split into 2 parts. And that way, they can let it breathe a bit, man. Not everything has to be crammed into one thing, especially with icons. You want to see more from it. So yeah, that was the updates from Lionsgate. So they're set to have a big year this year. Next up, we are moving to Amazon MGM. So Amazon purchased MGM, I think last year. And with that, they got, the Pink Panther, RoboCop, and the big one was the Bond. So they own the Bond franchise. There wasn't much stuff that jumped out to me, but we are getting a Masters of the Universe live action film. So there was a first look of that at CinemaCon. It's going to be directed by Travis Knight, who directed Bumblebee. This movie's set to come out on the 5th of June next year, 2026. And yeah, there was a sizzle reel apparently of He-Man reaching for the iconic sword. Concept art and set photos were showed to showcase the 80s accurate costumes, which is really cool. Pay homage to He-Man. And yeah, Amazon are betting big on Masters of the Universe. I don't know if it's going to be on Amazon Prime or if they're going to do a theatrical release and then bring it to Prime. I think He-Man, you want to see that in cinema. You've got Jared Leto playing Skeletor. You've got Nicholas Skelzine playing He-Man. You've got, who else? Idris Elba is playing Man-at-Arms. So yeah, man, they've got some good people in this film. There was no other information about Bond. I think that's what everyone wants to know, what's happening to Bond, because Amazon now own all of Bond. But yeah, there was no new film. that, there were rumors of a Bond TV series which will spin off to other things and blah 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 blah. None of that. But they have made it clear that Amazon are planning to go big with Bond. So yeah, that was that. And then we get to the last two guys. So we'll go back to here. So yeah, Universal. So Universal have a number of bangers or potential bangers releasing this year. So we have Wicked Part 2. So it's called Wicked for Good. Wicked is the live action version of the theatre show. It stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater, directed by John M. Chu, and that's set to release this year on the 21st of November. So there was a fresh look at the second part, and the movie did really well last year. So I think this is going to be another banger for Universal. Another film that I'm excited for was some more footage was released, was Jurassic World Rebirth. This is set to be a new trilogy. This one is directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One and The Creator, two films I really enjoyed. Set to release on the 2nd of July this year, and it's starring Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, Mahershala Ali, and Rupert Friend. And no one knows what's going to be happening in this new Jurassic Park film, or Jurassic World movie. But I think they're returning back to the original island, or an island that we didn't know, and they're set to be some like mutant dinosaur. If you watch the teaser trailer, there's apparently a mutant dinosaur in there, and they're taking the gamble with this because I think they've done Jurassic Park 6 times, so try something new. So I'm looking forward to this one. There were some horror films highlighted. So Jordan Peele's new movie called Him. He's not directing it, but he is producing it. It's going to be directed by Justin Tippin. Set to release later this year on the 19th of September. We have Marlon Wayans, Julia Fox, and Tariq Withers. And there was some exclusive footage shown, so that hasn't crept onto the internet just yet. But this is set to be another psychological horror, but it's football themed. American football, not proper football, as Americans would call soccer, where a young athlete is pushed to his limits until things take a sinister and supernatural turn. This is kind of giving me Whiplash meets Exorcist vibes a little bit. Megan 2.0, the trailer for that dropped today, and I watched it and I was like, what the heck is this? I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Megan film. It wasn't for me, but I can understand why people like that movie. And they've gone completely 180 with this new Megan 2.0, because in the first film, she's a villain, killing everyone. But now in this film, she's been recreated to take on another killer android named Amelia, and she's sent on a mission to destroy Amelia. So I might watch it for that, because it just seems ridiculous, and maybe the story might be a little bit better, but I don't know. So that was showcased. We're also getting a Black Phone 2, the Ethan Hawke movie. So that's coming out later this year on the 17th of October. One that I'm really, really excited for, it's called Nobody 2. So Nobody 1, starring Bob Odenkirk, came out a few years ago. It's produced by the same guys that do John Wick, but Bob Odenkirk plays like a retired John Wick, basically, but he gets brought into it somehow, and fighting, shooting, all that type of stuff. And it was a really, really, really cool film. I enjoyed that. The sequel is the sequel, Nobody 2, is directed by Timo Tjahjanto, an Indonesian director. I love his movies. VHS 2, The Night Comes For Us, The Big Four, The Shadow Strays. So I'm excited to see his take on an action movie, because I think Timo does action really well. And then the last one from Universal is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This is another horror movie that I didn't enjoy, but it has a video game fan base and they love the film. So this is coming out on the 5th of December later this year. And then we get to the last the last one at the moment. I think at this time of the show, Disney are set to announce stuff. So I'm not sure tomorrow. You might wake up to some new stuff that that's going to be happening. But I'm up to Paramount. So Paramount showcased Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. This is set to be Tom Cruise's final outing as Ethan Hunt. They got to see some new footage from the movie. I'm super excited for this movie. You know, we had Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond a few years back in No Time to Die, and now we have Tom Cruise's. I mean, the Mission Impossible franchise is legendary, and I just can't wait to see how it ends. And that comes out soon in next month. We're in April now, so it comes out on the 23rd of May. That's coming right around the corner. Damn. We also have The Running Man. So this is based on the 1982 Stephen King novel. It's the second adaptation of the same book. The first movie came out in 1987. This new movie is directed by Edgar Wright. It's releasing later this year on the 7th of November. Really good cast for this one. Glenn Powell, Coleman Domingo, Josh Brolin, Katie O'Brien, Lee Pace, William Hay Macy, and at not Comic-Con, CinemaCon, people were shown exclusive footage of The Running Man. Glenn Powell is playing the lead character, Ben Richards, a fugitive forced into a deadly game show. Coleman Domingo is playing the host, Bobby Thompson. So yeah, I think fans of the original, so the original starred Arnie. So it'll be interesting to see if Glenn Powell can match or maybe differentiate himself from the original and just make his own, make his own legacy with this film. We're getting a Smurfs movie coming out on the 18th of July this year. Chris Miller's directing, and it stars Rihanna. We've also got Octavia Spencer, Emmy Sedaris, and Nick Offerman, plus many more. I think there was a trailer shown at CinemaCon. I don't think I've seen the trailer online just yet. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was announced, but apart from that, no release date. We've also got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2. No release date, but that was an animated film that released last year to really good reviews. SpongeBob fans, there's a new SpongeBob movie. And then we're also getting an Aang the Last Airbender animated movie. And then finally, Scream 7. So Ghostface is coming back. We know they are currently filming the new Scream film, even though all of the controversy surrounding it with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. But anyway, as they say, the show must go on. I don't know how much support this movie is going to get because of that backlash. But yeah, apparently this Scream 7 is set to be a reinvention of the franchise. So that's going to be interesting. And then also there was some surprise announcements. So we're getting a Trey Parker, Matt Stone. So they're the guys behind South Park. They are doing a movie with Kendrick Lamar. I think it's going to be an animated film. We are getting Children of Blood and Bone, which I did talk about on the last stream. This is going to be an adaptation of Tommy Adeyemi's fantasy novel, and Heart of the Beast, which is a new original horror thriller. And that's about it. So that was CinemaCon. I know a lot of rambling, but there's some exciting stuff happening this year, next year, and the year after. And at the top end of the show, we spoke about Friday. So we're getting a new Friday film. We're getting David Fincher directing a script written by Quentin Tarantino. There were some big topics to discuss tonight. I appreciate everyone tuning in. I love everyone tuning into the chat. I see people were liking the stream as well. I'm going to call it there because I need to eat something. I haven't had dinner yet. But I'll be on same time next week. Every Thursday, you will see me. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.